And good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this edition of Saturday Morning New Distributor Training. My name is Fred Holmes. I'm an independent distributor with IsaCorp, and I'm excited to be here this morning. I hope you are. Some of you were on the, maybe noticed the post on Facebook, or maybe you're on my email list. You got, notice from that. Today's training is we're going old school. That's right. Actually, it was very interesting. This past week, I was talking with, with Britton McDowell. Some of you may know Britton. He's one of our top distributors. He's a triple diamond, I believe is his rank. Forgive me, Britton, if I messed that up. From Kentucky. Britton's been around a long time, done a tremendous job. He's definitely one of those guys that's got the deal down. And he was talking about, back in the day. This is going way, way back. When we first, we spent about a year in Zija starting to build things up, and got to a point in time where what we needed was a Saturday morning new distributor training. There was just so many people coming in. It was difficult to train each person individually. And so, I was tapped to put that together. And he was commenting how, the repetition of that training on an ongoing basis was something that really drove into him, the fundamentals, the concepts that create success in our type of business. And I came across one of the old outlines. There we go. One of the old outlines. And I thought, I started looking at it and all modesty aside, I said, dang, that's pretty good stuff. And so what I want to do today, folks, is I want to take a few minutes. I'm going to go through the concepts of that original Saturday morning new distributor training. I'm going to talk a little bit about the conference call, the Zoom meeting that took place yesterday. Lots happened in the last 24 hours. Yesterday with the IsaCorp corporate team, and I think there was like maybe 30 of us on that. The 20 people that were involved in the original first introduction to the IsaCorp corporate team. This goes back to February, I believe. It was a week after the announcement. And I'm going to give you as much information as I can from that, get you prepared for the transition. There's going to be another Zoom meeting. I believe it's the top 100 distributors in Zija. That'll be Monday, I believe. And certainly for those of you that are on that list, you're going to want to be there. A lot of stuff to go through that Zoom meeting yesterday. It was 2 hours and 40 minutes, which, for those of you that know me well, my attention span is about as long as that of a ferret on amphetamine. So being able to spend 2 hours and 40 minutes taking notes, I got, a notebook over here that's got just pages of notes on it. I'm going to respect the request of the IsaCorp corporate team to roll this out in the fashion they wanted, but I'm going to give you all the information that I am allowed to give. We'll have some questions and answers. If you have questions, I'll see if I can't get some answers for you. And let's get going. All right, so grab your journal. This is straight out of the archives of the original Saturday morning new distributor training. And I'm not going to do the training. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share the concepts with you. And as I was going through my outline, I thought this is, again, I was pretty impressed with me. Good stuff, really good stuff. The whole purpose of what we do here in IsaCorp now, and development of a distribution network within the arena of home-based business and network marketing, is to develop a process where we can help our brand new person enroll 2 new people, not 20, not 1,000, not 1,000,000, 2 new people, and have it be a process that is simple enough that it can be duplicated by our brand new person through their next 2, and then so on, and 2 below that, and 2 below that, and 2 below that. Every truly successful long-term network marketer has developed a system that is simple to teach. Because it's simple to teach, the average person can learn it. And because the average person can learn it, the average person can turn around and teach it to others. If you simply do the math, you can start with your brand new person, help them get their first two, and then in turn, help those two people get their first two. And then do it one more time, help those two people get their first two. When you do it a fourth time, you have an organization that has 30 people in it under your brand new person. That brand new person, a couple of things have happened. One, they made some money. There were 30 enrollment orders. You know, whether they're a customer or distributor is immaterial. Your brand new person has made some money. This is critical because it's the second topic I want to talk about, which is the development of the story. More importantly, in the process of watching you, and this is key, okay? When you enroll your new person, let's call you new person Gerald, okay? Here's what your responsibility is. Help Gerald get two new people. Now, as soon as Gerald's got those two new people, you need to jump in as if you personally enrolled those first two people that are on Gerald's first level, because Gerald's brand new. Okay, Gerald is still learning. Gerald has, you know, probably lacks a lot of confidence. You know, if you've been around in the business 30 days longer than Gerald, you got 30 days more experience. You don't have to be, you know, a big shot, you know, double diamond, whatever. You start with where you're at. Now, when you can help Gerald take those first two people and help him and help those two enroll their first two people, Gerald's going to have 4 people on his second level. Now, what's exciting about this is those first two people Gerald enrolled, they may be very aware that Gerald's brand new. They may be very aware that maybe Gerald's never done anything like this before, and they're going to be excited to work with you because you've got experience. One of my favorite sayings, and this applies so much here: in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. And see, if you've got 30 days more experience than your new person, then guess what? You're the one-eyed man. You get to be king. See, it's all about the perception. And you don't have to be the person that knows everything. All you need to know is enough. Okay? Very important to understand this. All you need to know is enough. And there's so many resources out there today to help you. And I'm going to give you a couple of those resources here in a couple of minutes to help you be that leader. Now, when you take those two people on Gerald's first level and you help them get two, what Gerald has just seen is the system that you're using to help duplicate. Now, take those 4 people and get them their first two. Okay, now you're starting to get a little busy, right? And this is when it gets really exciting. And now on Gerald's third level, there are 8 people. Now, here's what's happening, very interesting, between that third and fourth level. Gerald is watching you do this process, watching you help his new people go through the system, you know, the invitation, the presentation, the validation, the enrollment, the fast start, you know, training, you know, the get going meeting, if you will. And somewhere between that third and fourth level, Gerald has started through repetition seeing that a simple system works well, and he will start taking on some of that responsibility. I call it leadership overhead, the little things that are necessary to do but take away from the time of doing the most important things, which is getting a new person in, getting them trained, getting them going, helping them get their first two. Now, Gerald is also going to have a story. Okay, he's made some money, you know, he's been able to rank advance. If we got those first 2 people in the first 30 days, he's become a crystal consultant. He made that extra $100. You know, if he gets, you know, 4 people in within the first 60 days, he's become a crystal manager. He's made that extra, was it $250? So he's got a story. and that story will be his #1 tool. Now, what you're looking for as the leader, you started with the one person, your new guy we're calling Gerald. You helped him get 30 people. If you do the math, help Gerald get 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is 30 people. Now, out of those 30 people, here's what we know statistically. It's called the 80-20 rule. 80% of those people will just end up being customers, okay? Whether they started as an associate or started as a customer, their behavior is going to be predominantly that of a consumer. Now, what that means is the other 20%, they are going to be more engaged in the business. They're going to be focused on trying to create some income. It could be something as simple as make enough money to cover their Isagenix products for themselves and their family. Okay, and that would be great. You know, why not help somebody get 2 or 3 or 4 customers? That way they can make some extra money. The 80-20 rule, if you do the math, 6 of those 30 people will engage in the business. And we also know that in that top 20%, there's another 80-20 rule, all right? 20% of the top 20%, you know, they're the ones that are really going to go forward, that top, you know, 4 or 5%. And that applies to everything in life. I mean, if you simply look at the distribution income, you know, in North America, in the United States, you know, top 20% of the top 20%, the top 4 or 5%, they're the ones that are making, you know, the 200,000 plus a year, right? I mean, that's what the numbers say. So what we're looking for is that top 20% of that top 20%. And if you just did the math, one of those people out of that 30 that you helped Gerald get is likely to become a significant income earner within our compensation plan. Now, does it always work out like that? No, I wish it did. Okay, you know, if you're looking for that 1% person, you might get them, you know, it's 1 out of 100. You might get them the first person you talk to. You might have to talk to 99 before you get them. You might have to talk to 101 before you get them, because it isn't always exact. But that's the concept. So what we want to do is have a simple system that our brand new person can teach others, learn it, be able to teach it, simply getting 2 people. Now, it's really important to understand we have 2 categories of people that we're going to be talking to. We're going to be talking to people who are interested in making, that are so engaged in the product that their focus is to develop customers. And that's great, okay? The lion's share of my personal organization are people that really aren't involved in getting new distributors. They're not involved in training new distributors. They're not involved in, you know, helping their team rank advance. Their real focus and their passion is simply sharing our products. And it's easy to understand how that can happen. You know, myself personally, I've been using our Isagenix products now since as soon as we could get our hands on them. I think I got in on that first ISA challenge, and in the last, I believe it's 12 weeks now, I'm into the ISA challenge, or you know, close to that. You know, I've noticed a significant difference, you know, in my overall health and wellness and vitality. Most importantly, because I really wasn't focusing on losing weight, I'm noticing a tremendous change in my physical body, increasing more lean muscle mass, reducing body fat. The actual weight loss has been insignificant. I think maybe, you know, probably running around 3 pounds of weight loss, okay, you know, across the board. But the physical difference, you know, to me, I don't know about you guys if you see the difference, but to me, it's a big deal. However, when you start looking at some of the changes that are happening, people, my #1 support gal, Modesta, some of you have heard me talk about her. She's lost 25 pounds in her first 6 weeks using our Isagenix products, and she had previously lost 25 pounds on the keto diet, right? And, you know, and I finally got her off of that. I told her, you know, do your research. Keto is not that healthy, you know, a diet for a lifestyle. certainly not for, you know, diabetics. And she lost 25 pounds and finally took my advice and got off of that, just as I had the Isagenix weight management plan available. And so she jumped on that with both feet, lost another 25 pounds. Any of you who have lost significant amounts of weight know the second 25 pounds is a lot harder than the first 25 pounds. It was easier. She feels better. She's melting away. Her blood sugar is virtually normalized now. She sees the time where in a very short period of time, she will no longer be using insulin. I mean, that's a powerful, powerful story. Why wouldn't you want to share that with others? And so we have a category of people, their primary focus is going to be sharing our products. For those of you that fall into the other category, you're looking to develop a business, something that can create a reliable income stream, develop residual incomes, maybe even go to high levels of prosperity. Be very clear on this, write this in your notes. This is not a business of selling product. It is a business of developing distribution networks. If that's what you're looking for, if that, you know, if you're looking for a higher level of income that develops, you know, a consistency on a, you know, week to week and month to month basis of income that can then become residual, that can then compound and become significant, focus on the development of the distribution networks. So I want you to think about this. You could go out and, you know, make a sale and you'll make some money. And if you wanted to make twice the amount of money, you'd have to make 2 sales. And if you wanted to make 10 times the amount of money, you're going to have to do 10 sales. Now, that all make sense. However, what if you wanted to make, you know, 100 times, you know, 10 times that amount, make it 100 customers? Becomes harder to go get 100 customers by yourself. Whereas if you simply had 10 distributors, taught them how to get 10 customers, there's your 100 customers with a lot less effort. And if you wanted to go to 1,000 customers, teach your first 10 distributors how to get their 10 distributors and teach them how to get their 10 customers. The exponential growth is what creates tremendous stories within our industry. That simple concept I just shared with you, that's how a guy like me, 35 years ago, cross-country truck driver, has been able, you know, in you know, over the time that I've been involved in the industry, you know, in the last 35 years, I've created an income that's, you know, 10 times, actually a lot more than that, 20 times what a truck driver would have made in that amount of time, okay? It's this leverage that comes from developing distribution networks. Now, the number one priority, and, you know, I discount things like rank advancements, pin ranks, all that kind of thing, because all of that will come from this initial priority. The number one priority that you want to focus on, whether it's helping your new distributor or you as a new distributor, focus on the development of your story. See, our business is very much different than you know, any other, you know, direct sales type of business that I've ever been exposed to. In sales, you know, the great mantra is product knowledge. The person that's the most knowledgeable about the product is one that's going to sell the features and benefits the best. That doesn't apply here, okay? And it has everything to do with the fact that our industry, our profession, you know, our personal businesses are much more dependent upon a large number of people doing a little rather than a few people doing a lot. And so the stories are what really creates success. Your personal story is going to be your number one tool. Okay, when I first started with Zija, I'd already done this before. Okay, I was already, you know, a 7-figure earner from a previous company, so I already knew this. When I first started, I had, I'm not gonna say I didn't have interest in the product. I had interest in product. I tried to get as much information on the product as possible because that's just me. But I had no interest in becoming a product expert. I had no interest in becoming the compensation plan expert. Now, I delved into the compensation plan. I learned as much as I could just because that's me. I like to know. But I did not make that my priority. My priority was creating my story. And the story revolves around three elements: your background and motivation to get involved. That's the drama of the story. My original motivation and, background, well, 35 years ago, I was a cross-country truck driver, motivated to make more income to help support the needs of my special needs son. Okay, that's the drama. Second element of the story is how you got started and what you did. Well, what I did is I got some of the products, enough for myself and my family, and enough to sample out to others. And I plugged into a simple system. I followed a simple system. The third element to the story is results. Now, when I started in Zija 12, almost 13 years ago, I started with the largest package that we had. And within 2 weeks, I'd recouped all of that initial cost and was in profit. That's a great story. Okay, with the isogenic system, it's a powerful story. You can invest in a 30-day supply of product, introduce this to two people, and essentially be in profit from just simply using the product, sharing it with a couple of other people. The story is the documentation that the product works and the system works. And that will ultimately be your number one tool, because people, if you're talking to the right person, if it's a potential customer, all they want to know is, does it work? You look at all the things that are out there in the weight loss arena, all the fad gimmicks and plans and whatever. People will spend money on it, on anything, if it works. Okay. If it's the income opportunity, if you can document that you followed a simple system and got into profitability and making money, people will want to be involved with you. That's the core of what we do. Now, there's a couple of other things that we want to talk about. I'm going to just kind of do it real briefly. There's a system involved in what we do, but you want to keep it really simple. I don't spend a lot of time going into in-depth training in the beginning, because it's not important that your brand new person knows everything. What's important is you help them get a story. If you can help them get those first two customers, they got a story. Help them get their first two distributors, they got a story. They're making money. If they want to make more money, just do the same thing more often. Okay, that's the key. And while I know there's a lot of people who would like to have all the details, the fact of the matter is, every single person has unique skill sets and abilities and talents and experience and what have you. I do not really get too involved in those kinds of things, because, for instance, if I was really involved in social media, and I had a program that I used in social media for developing customers and developing distributors and having Facebook pages and all that kind of stuff, that's great if it works for me. Here's what the real problem is: it's not universally duplicatable by everybody. So what I focus on is sharing the concepts, the system. Here's your system. Okay, start out by making a list. Okay, what is the list? The list is people to talk to. That's all we do. What do? We share our products, we share our income opportunity, and we teach others to do the same. But we have to have people to share it with. And commonly, we start with people that we know. Now, the list is real simple. Okay, I encourage you to use a memory jogger. Memory jogger is just a paper and pencil tool that helps you do what it says: jog your memory. It's a list of 100 different types of people that everybody knows, that most people don't think about when they're sitting down to write down a list. Most people sit down and write, start with your friends and family. Okay, well, they think about, half a dozen friends that they see on an average basis, and they go, okay, well, that's all the people I know. Fact of the matter is, by the time you hit about 30 years of age, the average person knows over 300 people by name. Okay, but they're not people that you generally think about. The key here is to, again, make two lists. here's your list. One is a list of prospective customers. The other one's a list of prospective distributors. Prospective customers, everybody qualifies to be on that list. Okay, if they're living and breathing, they qualify to be one of your customers because we got something for everybody. So make a list of people who'd benefit from the product. Who would benefit from the product? Young people. You know, we've got an incredible line of sports nutrition products. Old people like me, we've got an incredible line of anti-aging products. People that want to lose weight. Here's where it becomes really easy, especially in the Western world. You know, a third of the population is morbidly obese. 1 out of 3 people you know is morbidly obese. Another third are clinically obese. So 2/3 of people you ever know or ever talk to either are obese or morbidly obese. Now, that last third, almost all of them want to lose some weight. Okay? There's a handful of people out there that want to gain some weight. And so you talked about this great weight management plan where they can add an extra shake in and increase their weight. Okay, that's, you know, most of the time people need to gain weight. It has a lot more to do with their ability to absorb nutrients than it is anything else. It's not like they're not eating enough. And, you know, our nutrition plan is going to help with that. So who can benefit from the products? Everybody. Now, on the distributor list, there you got to qualify. Okay, not everybody's going to be on that list. And this is important to understand. If you want to build a world-class business, you want to build your business with world-class people. Okay, it's so common that the novice new distributor, the minute they, you know, we start talking about being able to create income and help other people make money, first thing they think about is their broke Uncle Bob. You know, Uncle Bob has never had a job for more than a year in his entire life. He's always borrowing money to feed the kids and keep the electric bill going, and, you know, you repair the car so you can go to work and whatever. You know, chances are the reason Uncle Bob has not been successful has really nothing to do with the opportunities he's had. It has to do with him. He's probably not the guy you're looking for to build a world-class business. So who are you looking for? Start with people you want to work with. Okay, this is one of the greatest things about this business. You don't have to work with people that you don't like. Whereas at your job, you got to work with whoever's there, right? Here, you get to pick who to work with. So pick with people you'd like to work with. Look for people that have a large contact base and good credibility within that contact base. Those are ideal candidates because somebody with, you know, who's got a large contact base? People that belong, you know, they're heavily involved in their church. They belong to, you know, one of the organizations like the Elks Club or the Kiwanis Club or the Rotary Club. They're involved in, you know, youth sports or, you know, the local bowling team or the Chamber of Commerce. Look for those kinds of people, and in particular, people that have good credibility within that those contact bases. Because when they want to share something with people, people will tend to listen to them because of their credibility. Really key, don't prejudge. This is one of the novice network marketers' biggest challenge. They'll prejudge whether or not somebody would be interested. Well, you know, I could talk to, you know, my physician, Dr. John, but he wouldn't be interested. He's a doctor. He already makes a lot of money. Let me tell you something. Some of our best distributors have been people from the healthcare profession. You know, doctors make a lot of money, but you know what? It's not a lot of money, not compared to what some of us are making. Okay, and more importantly, they are trading hours for dollars. These are people that have invested, you know, in many cases, hundreds of thousands of dollars in their education, setting up their practice, and they've got to work incredible hours just because of the overhead they have. And they have no chance, no time freedom. If they have no opportunity to take a month off or a year off because their income stops the instant they stop working. You know, somebody else, you know, a stay-at-home, well, she wouldn't be interested, you know, she's got kids at home she's taking care of. You don't know that. You don't know if maybe one of the things she's really interested in doing is creating additional income and being able to stay at home. You can't prejudge whether people would be interested in our product You can't prejudge whether they be interested in our income opportunity. And here's the last thing that most people prejudge, erroneously. Don't be prejudge whether they're interested in talking to you. Okay, this is really important. So often, if you look at some of the the top people in our company, they're people that were recruited by friends they hadn't talked to in years. Okay, might be somebody in the neighborhood you lived in 10 years ago, might be somebody you graduated from high school with. Don't prejudge whether they're interested in talking to you. That is not your job. Our job is to share our products, share our income opportunity, and then for those that want to join us, teach others how to do the same. Now, learning the system of invitation, presentation, validation. Some of you have heard the phrasing peak, pass, and plug. It's the same thing, okay? Inviting somebody to take a look at what we're doing. That's the first step in the process. Most people will then immediately move into the second step of the process, which is the presentation. But it's really important to understand your prospect thinks it's a two-step system. Your prospect is thinking, oh, well, they've asked me to take a look at their products or look at their income opportunity. And then they'll, if they have a genuine interest or even the slightest bit of the interest, they'll ask, tell me about it. And you do a presentation. And, maybe you'll send them a tool. The prospect's mind is, this process is they agree to look, they get information, they make a decision. It's a two-step process. It's not a two-step process. In our type of business, it's a three-step process. The invitation, that's what you do. Invite people to look. Presentation, that's what the tools do. And keep it simple and keep it short. The third step is third-party validation. The validation is the important part of the process, where you have somebody besides yourself documenting that the products work, the opportunity works. It is a three-step system. And if you fail to get that third step in there, then you have completely eliminated all the magic of our kind of business. When I first started network marketing, again, 35 odd years ago, I was very fortunate. The person that was my personal sponsor was already $1 million earner. And so I was taught how to do it at that level. And it never occurred to me to try and reinvent the wheel. And so I just did what my sponsor said. I invited people to look, pass them a tool, put my sponsor on the line. Let somebody else share the story. When you do that, incorporate that last component, that's when everything starts to work, because it's your ability to successfully prospect and bring a new person into your business is no longer dependent upon how successful you are at your presentation, how good you were with your invitation. It is completely put onto the shoulders of somebody else with more experience and a better story, and the ability to answer and respond to questions and objections. Okay, this is until the time that you have heard your upline respond to dozens of people. When that happens, then you will be able to do it for your downline. I do the same thing. Okay, I'm constant now. Honestly, it's a little challenging for me because I only have one upline. Okay, it's David Moses. Okay, and there's a lot of people going, man, that's great, you got David Moses. It is great, but David Moses has lots of people he's working with. It's not that easy to get David on the phone. All right, so and it's not like I have 3 or 4 or 5 upline that I can find somebody to mix with. So what I tend to do is I tend to use downline, cross-line, sideline. I've used I mentioned Britton McDowell earlier. I've used him before as third-party validation. It's critical that you have somebody besides yourself doing that validation. Now, a couple other quick things I want to share with you, then I want to move on to our second part. Some other things that are important. The onboarding process, if you want to call it new distributor orientation. You want to immediately, when a new person comes on board, try and introduce them to, you know, one or two or three or more of their successful upline leaders, the people that will be helping them, somebody besides yourself. If you're brand new, you want to introduce them to your sponsor, assuming your sponsor is, you know, actively engaged. And then maybe another person, and maybe another person. So they can, first of all, hear the stories of others. The more stories they hear, the stronger their belief system that the opportunity works. Another thing that happens, it demonstrates this concept of team. We work together. We're all part of one family that's all here to support each other's, business and aspirations. It teaches the three-way calling protocol. Now, we call it three-way calling protocol because that's how it was done in the past with, you know, the three-way calling feature on the phone. Same thing applies in the Zoom meeting, you know, doing video conferencing, which I much prefer to do than to do a three-way call. Do the same thing. Introduce your new person to the upline. Edify the upline. Okay, introduce the upline to your new person. Edify that person. Hand off the call. I go through this, the specifics on that on a previous training. If you go to my YouTube channel, in the search box on that particular channel, you can put in, three-way calling, validation call, and it'll bring up several different trainings on that. You want to do that upline introduction, if you will. Help your new person establish some goals, short-term and long-term. I like to ask for long-term commitment, commit to being here a year from now. It's most common. The vast majority of people that start a network marketing business will not complete their first year. I mean, that's just statistics. The problem with that is it takes a year to get any traction. I had a friend of mine do this one time, and what he came up with is, 80–90% of the people don't complete their first year. Of those that go on to the second year, another 80 or 90% of them don't complete their second year. But the people that continue on to the third year, all the money that's available in our profession is reserved for them because they stayed around long enough to create some momentum, build some strength and depth, to build some substance. How do you get 15,000 people in your personal organization? It's not done in the first day, the first week, the first month, or the first year, or even the second year. It's going to take some time. But if you knew that 3 years from now, you could have a significant residual income and continue to grow it, would it be worth spending that time? And before you answer that question, I have to ask you, how many years did you spend in school to make the money you're making right now at your job? So would 3 years be worth it to build a, in many people's cases like my own, a significant income and do it on a part-time basis? So some of the concepts from the original, old school Saturday morning new distributor training, for those of you that spend a lot of time here on Saturday morning with us, whether it's myself or one of the other presenters, you're starting to hear the commonalities. Concepts remain constant over time. True concepts remain constant over time. Techniques, they will vary, over time, changes in technology, individual, circumstances, geography, what have you, but the concepts will always remain constant over time. Now, let me switch hats here. And did you notice? Got a haircut. I don't have to wear a hat all the time anymore, well, I'd still wear a hat. It's getting a little thin up there, so in the sun I wear a hat, but finally got a haircut. I'll tell you what, I was about 4 weeks away from going Rastafarian, and they opened up here's my, well, I guess it's a soft opening is what she called it. My gal snuck me in, right? She had all her little posters on the walls and that sort of stuff on, don't touch this and don't touch that. So excited I finally got a haircut. Some of you are thinking you don't look any better. That's probably true. Let's talk a little bit about transition. Okay, we are, well, actually, as of today, we are exactly 30 days away from transitioning to becoming full-fledged, bona fide, signed up Isagenix distributors. Incredibly exciting. It's been a long time in coming. It's certainly not been without its challenges. Each one of you is to be congratulated for your willingness to bear with the struggles and the transitions and the changes. Change is always difficult. You know, it's always a challenge. Not everybody's going to make it, but all of you are to be congratulated for everything that you've done for yourself, for your organizations, to get to this point in time, and we're in the home stretch. Now, yesterday, we had a Zoom meeting. Jim and Kathy Coover were there. All of the IsaGenix corporate team was there. It was a very extensive meeting. Again, I guess I mentioned it was like 2 hours and 40 minutes. You know, I was really impressed with me and my ability to stay in one place for that long. That's not something that, I can't remember the last time that happened. There is a process that the IsaGenix corporate team is going through to distribute this information progressively through different levels of the organization. I'm going to respect their wishes on that, but I can give you a lot of information and not violate my agreement to, you know, respect their wishes. 13th of July, transition day. Why did they pick the 13th of July? Because it's my birthday, and that's the reason it's the 13th of July, okay? They were going to go on the 12th or the 16th, and they said, no, let's just do it on the 13th of July because Fred wants a really good birthday present. It'll be the 27th anniversary of my 39th birthday, I believe it is, something like that. There's a critical thing that you need to attend to right now, okay? And that is to go to the Zija Chance page if you have not already, and download the transition checklist. Okay, there's a checklist. I think I got this up. I was looking at it earlier today. I'll just kind of scroll through it. Let's see here. Back here, share screen. Right, but there, and all right, should be able to see that. Member integration checklist. Okay. For most of you, this is going to be pretty simple, all right? You don't need to do a lot, but you should do this anyway. Some of you, you know, may not have been in your back office for a while, or there's certain things you haven't worried about. You want to go through, just do it like a checklist, all right? Pre-flight checkout. Verify all these things. Verify your email address. Make sure that, you know, your mailing address, your shipping address is the same. Update your recognition name. For those of you that, some of you may never have done it, okay? And I see in my back office when I'm looking at different people's recognition name, the recognition name isn't there, okay? How do you want to be recognized? For me, my recognition name is Fred Holmes, because that's what I go by, not Frederick W. Holmes or my business entity name. You know, verify your social security number. Those of you that are working under a business entity, your employer identification number. Check your banking information. Your banking information, if you're on direct deposit, you want to make sure that's correct. Username. You're going to make sure that your username meets these criteria. It must be 6 or more characters. Can't be used by another member or associate. I got a real problem. My username is Fred. Now, how did I get Fred? I was the first Fred that registered in Zija, I guess. I don't know. I'm going to have to change that. As a matter of fact, I just realized I got to change that. Make sure you've got a password that matches their criteria there. This is so that all of our, when the transition takes place, all of what we use in Zija will be accommodated by the IsaGenix, platform. So go through the list. I'm not going to go through each one here. For a lot of you, this is going to be pretty simple. But again, here's a good reason to check the checklist. I just realized I got to fix my my username. Okay, so let's see, shipping dates. Yeah, so that little checklist is not going to take you about 5 or 10 minutes for most of you, but go through that checklist. Okay, make sure that's taken care of. Second critical ingredient. And when I say do this, I'm saying, especially for those of you that have team members that you're working with, you need to be getting this information to them. Get them to go through this checklist, okay? You want to make sure for people that are building the business that they have 2 personally enrolled, can be a customer, can be a distributor, makes no difference, but a minimum of 2 personally enrolled, 1 on each of your 2 legs. Okay, that, you know, Zeta's comp plan is the same, got to have 2 in each leg. However, that hasn't always been required. Our computers never really noticed that. And so there are people that, you know, came into the organization with a leg that just was building incredibly fast on their left side, for instance. And so they put all their people on their right side, which makes sense in the Zeta plan. In the Isagenix plan, you have to have at least 1 on each leg. And for them to count as a qualifier for you, they have to have 100 BV or PV on a rolling 30-day basis. And so you're going to want to double check on that. Somebody, you know, say, you know, well, all my people are on a single case of Supermix that's only 75. Okay, well, either encourage them to use another additional product during their rolling 30 days, or go get a new person and start them on the Isagenix plan. The Isagenix plan is always going to be you know, it's 185 PV to start with. And, you know, if they simply stand that, it's 185 every 30 days. What I'm finding is a lot of people are ordering, you know, a little bit of extra this, a little bit of extra that, and, you know, ordering once or twice a month a couple of things that they need rather than everything once every month. Okay, so just been my experience. Now, one more thing that I'm going to encourage you to do. For all of you that have customers, reach out to your customers, thank them for being part of your, you know, your valued family of friends and customers, and let them know that we have exciting times ahead. We're including a brand new product division into our comp plan. We're transitioning into Isagenix. There's going to be great products for them to look at, and you simply want to make sure that there is no interruption in their products by having them go through and double check their, you know, username and those kinds of things. For most people, there'll be very little needs to be done, but make your customers aware of it. Okay, help them understand the transitions taking place. You want to retain those loyal customers as you add more to your business. Now, there's going to be a lot more information coming out, and I'm going to tell you right now, and I'm not, you know, I'm not going to disclose stuff that I was asked not to. After that Zoom meeting yesterday, top 30 people in Zeta, whatever it was, I've always been impressed from the very beginning of the character and the caliber and the professionalism of the Isagenix corporate team. Yesterday, it hit an all-time high in terms of their, you know, 100% commitment to not just, you know, the Zeta leadership, but to every single person within the Isagenix, you know, the Zeta family. Every single person, to the smallest distributor making, you know, $50 a month, they have made a commitment to make sure that the transition will be positive, that you will have ample opportunities to make any adjustments necessary in this transition, to be able to retain your current level of income and then increase that. I have never had this experience. This will be now my 4th company in network marketing. I heard David Moses say the same thing on that call. David's, I believe, this will be his 9th or 10th company in network marketing. I have never seen a company of this high level character, commitment. It's truly stunning. Every single time that goes, you know, every day that goes by, I realize more and more and more everything that's happened in my 35-year career in network marketing has been leading up to this point in time, to be part of the Isagenix family and to be able to build something that'll, you know, live long past the time that we're around. Okay, so with that, I'll take the last few minutes. If you got a question, something you would like me to research for you or what have you, feel free to jot it in the chat box. What we got here? Let's see. Oh, well, thank you, Kevin. Appreciate the kudos. You're very, very, very kind of you to say that. Kevin said, great info. Thanks for your sharing and doing the trainings. It's what I do, dude. Okay. It's my contribution. There's a lot of things I can't do. There's other members of the team. I mean, you know, we've got people in the organization, you know, I mean, this is, you know, pre-zombie apocalypse, you know, people like Pat Anderson and, you know, Reed Nelson and, you know, Mac McDonald, Pat Terry. I mean, a lot of our leaders were, you know, traveling here and traveling there and doing meetings here and doing presentations there and that sort of thing. Those things I can't do, you know, because of my, you know, unique circumstances here with mom. So we all pitch in. We all, you know, as a team, we can do tremendous things and we do lots of things. So question, comment. I will share with you that there's a, the top 100 meeting is on Monday, the day after tomorrow. Then there will be a third round of information being brought out in the I forget the name of the what they call it. It's the bronze and above email communication. Each step along the way, one of the reasons we spent so much time there was refinements that, you know, from the field. It's another thing that's incredibly exciting. IsaGenix put together that information on how they're going to do the transition, and there were several different things that, you know, once speaking with the Zija leadership, they realized, yeah, that would be a better way to do it, or we need to include this, or we need to take care of that. And so it was much more of a meeting between the IsaGenix corporate team and that, you know, that top core leadership in Zija to make sure the transition takes place as effectively as possible, rather than corporate telling us what's going to happen. And so the next round of information will be, you know, they're working on that over the weekend to get that stuff put in place to deliver to the next level of leadership on Monday. I'm sure there'll probably be a few more adjustments made during that session, and the next one will be the bronze and above communication, and you know, and then transmitted directly to the field by individual upline leaders. So I'm not seeing any questions. I'm going to go ahead. Oh, wait a minute, got a couple of things here. No, sir, Mr. Mac McDonald, I thank you. Okay, you the man. Okay, you're the man. Is there a deadline date to complete the transition list? Gerald, it has to be done before, good question, Gerald. Has to be done before the 10th of July, because there's going to be a couple of day window between the 10th and the 13th that all this transition stuff's going to be taking place. And I'll work with you on that, Gerald. We'll take care of that. Okay. And let's see here. Anything else for now? All right, I think we're going to put a wrap on it today. The country is starting to open up, so hopefully y'all are starting to get out a little bit. The zombie apocalypse hasn't killed most of us, fortunately. I'll tell you what I want to know. I want to know, when all is said and done, I want to have a study done on how many people caught the COVID-19 deal that were using Zija. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I'll bet you not one person. I'm not making any health claims here. I'm going to get in a lot of trouble for this. I may have to like edit this video before posting it on YouTube. But I'll bet you none of the people using Supermix every day got sick. I'm just going to bet on that one, right? So anyway, folks, we'll put a wrap on it. Great for joining us. I appreciate y'all. Keep in touch. Reach out to me, myself, one of your upline leaders. If you need any support with any of the things in the transition, it's what we're all here to do. Is, you know, we're going to make this through it, and 30 days from now, we're going to hit the road running. It's going to be a beautiful thing. I'm excited. Now, this upcoming week, as always, conversations with Pat on Wednesday. Biz Talks with me on Thursday. By the way, this coming Thursday, I'm going to have Dr. Gayla Gates getting tremendous results on the IsaGenix products, and her team's getting amazing results. and you get to hear from a healthcare professional, you know, why a doctor would want to leave her doctorate profession to become a distributor. And then we'll be right back here on Saturday morning for new distributor training. Thanks for joining me. Have a great rest of your weekend. I'm going to get out to the beach today. All right. See you guys. Bye-bye.